The conditional formatting function can customize the cell formats or graphical effect and save the settings for other cells that meet the conditions. In today's class, we will tell you 5 different conditional formats, including highlight cells rules, top-bottom rules, data bars, color scales, and icon sets. Without further ado, let's get started. Take this employment confirmation sheet as an example. Suppose we want to know whose result is lower than the average score. What can we do? Select the cell range G4 through G16. Click the Conditional Formatting drop-down list and select Top-Bottom Rules, where you can find several frequently used rules, such as Top 10 Items, Top 10%, Bottom 10 Items, and Bottom 10%. Here we click Below Average. You can click the drop-down button and format cells with rules in the pop-up dialog. Here, we keep the default setting and click OK. By doing so, we will format cells that are below average with light red fill and dark red text. Furthermore, the formatting will change when the value of the chosen cells changes, making it easy to keep track. What if we need to find the best 3 employees based on their scores? Select cell range G4 through G16. Click Conditional Formatting again, and select Top-Bottom Rules and Top 10 Items. In the pop-up dialog, replace the 10 with 3 as required. Click the drop-down menu and click Custom Format. The Format Cells dialog will appear. Click Font and choose a color you like. Click Patterns and select Blue. Finally, click OK, and the employees with the top 3 scores are highlighted in blue. Lower than average data is now shown in red, while the top 3 employees are highlighted in blue, suggesting that different rules are used to differentiate data in the same column. Some of you may be perplexed now. Isn't our purpose to select the top 3? Why do we highlight 4 items? This is because the formats will apply to the data ranking equally if they meet the conditions. Betty and David both matched for 3rd place with 86 points, and this is why there are 4 highlighted data in this table. In addition to highlighting numerical values, we can access more rules for cell values in the Highlight Cells Rules drop-down menu. Let's take a look at 3 popular rules. Suppose we need to highlight the data for the sales department. Click Highlight Cells Rules and select Text cells that contain the text. You can either enter text in the text box or click the small icon on the right to choose the reference area. Quote cell J4 and click OK so that the cells containing sales will be highlighted. The advantage of quoting is that when we modify the content of cell J4, its format changes automatically. Assume I want to highlight specific dates in a range. Click the Date column and then click a date occurring at Highlight Cells Rules. We may choose from various date periods, such as last month. Finally, click OK, and the data from the previous month will be highlighted. Suppose I want to know whether there is duplicate data in my table. What can I do? Select the cell range C4 through C16. Click Duplicate Values at Highlight Cells Rules, and click OK to highlight the duplicate names. The cases we mentioned are used to highlight data so that the viewers can read it easier. The next 3 types of rules will be introduced, and they will be able to depict data using charts, making data changes more evident. For example, this is the schedule for a 4S shop. Conditional formatting can make employees' working progress clear. Click the cell range F4 through F16 and click Conditional Formatting and choose a data bar you like. In this approach, the progress of the target will appear in a very intuitive manner. The data bars go longer as the data gets higher. Conversely, the data bars get shorter as the data gets lower. Select the data area and reverse the order. We will discover that Betty's data bar covers the entire cell, but she only completes 67% of her task. Others are affected by this mismatch too. Some are still a long way from completing their objectives, but the progress reaches more than half of the way. This is because the system will take the maximum value of the selected data as the target value, which is not what we want. Select the F4 through F16 cell area again. Click Manager Rules at Conditional Formatting. Select Edit Rules in the pop-up dialog box. Here, select number at minimum and enter 0 in the edit box. Then select number at maximum and enter 1 in the edit box. This is to limit the data bar to a range of 0 to 100%. In this case, 1 equals 100%. Finally, click OK. Now the data bar will have a correct maximum value of 100%. Color scales are simple to comprehend. Its main purpose is to use different colors to indicate different values. Take this temperature table as an example. Select the data area and then click Color Scales at Conditional Formatting, where you can choose a style you want. Obviously, the higher the temperature, the darker the red shows, whereas the lower the temperature, the darker the blue shows. If you don't like the preset color, you may click More Rules and adjust the style in the pop-up dialog box. For example, Format Style allows you to choose 2 color scale or 3 color scale. You can also choose your favorite color at Color. Finally, click OK. Knowing how to use the color scale to extract usable information from chaotic data is a valuable skill. Take this returns form as an example. When the amount of data is large enough, we can identify patterns through color bars, and it allows us to determine which items have the greatest return rate in which area and identify the problem. In addition to the traditional formats and scales mentioned above, we can also add vivid icons to the data to make it more interesting. Icon sets can show the quantity of data as well as emphasize it, thereby killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I'll take this table to illustrate. Look at the score column. Employees with more than 85 points are regarded as exceptional, which should be marked with a tick. Those with more than 75 points are deemed medium and should be marked with an exclamation mark. And those with fewer than 75 points are considered failed and should be marked with a cross. First, copy the score column and name it as Result. Select the data area and click Icon Sets at Conditional Formatting. Select More Rules. In the pop-up dialog, select the desired style at Icon Style. Note, at most you can only set up to 5 icons to represent the level, but they can cover most of our needs. In this case, we choose 3 icons and check Show Icon Only. Then we need to set the corresponding rules below. For tick, select Number at Type and require it to be greater than 85. For exclamation mark, select Number at Type and set it to be greater than 75. Finally, click OK. Isn't it interesting? We have introduced multiple conditional formatting, but these rules can only be used for a single condition and fail to format multiple conditions. Take this table as an example. The sales department has been emphasized, and a bonus more than or equal to $400. Let's say we want to spotlight the employees in the sales department who have received a bonus of at least $400. What can we do? We can divide the process into 2 steps. First, set 2 conditions taking the first row for reference. The first condition is the sales department, which is the formula D4 equals sales. The second condition is requiring a bonus greater or equal to $400. Its formula is I4 greater than equals 400. These formulas are fundamental, and we need to connect them. Here, we need to use our old friend the AND function, which can only return a result if 2 criteria are met. Then, let's set the formula as a rule. Select the table area, click New Rules at Conditional Formatting, and select Use a Formula to determine which sales to format. Find the formula editing box below and enter equals and left parenthesis I4 greater than equals 400, comma D4 equals sales in quotation marks, right parenthesis. There's one thing that deserves your attention. Delete the $sign before the line number because we don't want to fix it. Instead, we want to apply the formula to every line. Click Format, click Font, and choose a color you like, and select Blue in the Patterns tab. Finally, click OK to check the effect. We've managed to highlight the employees in the sales department that earn a bonus of at least $400. This table contains several rules. To delete one of them, click Manage Rules at Conditional Formatting, a dialog will pop up where you can select the rule to delete by clicking Delete Rule and OK. By doing so, only one rule remains in this area. To delete all rules at once in this table, click Clear Rules at Conditional Formatting. Then you can select Clear Rules from selected cells or Clear Rules from entire sheet as required. In this lesson, we have learned several ways to set conditional formatting. They can be divided into two categories: Highlight Cells rules and Top-Bottom rules. They can highlight cells quickly and draw people's attention to data that matches the conditions. Data bar, color scales, and icon sets can visualize data and make them clear to recognize. We also learn how to add multiple formatting to data using the AND function. In the selected area, we can set multiple conditions, delete specific rules, or clear all rules at once. Okay, in the next lesson, we will get to know the column chart. Stay tuned.